back to Real Culture, man. I miss you guys, man. I took a little hiatus for, the Thanksgiving holiday, but I'm back for Christmas holiday. This is the month of December. You see the Santa hat, so your boy is getting right to it. So happy holidays. And with that being said, I will be doing holiday movies. I'm not saying every movie I'll be doing this month is a holiday movie, because I haven't seen enough, but for the most part, I'll be doing holiday movies. And the first movie I will be reviewing is called 8-Bit Christmas. It's called 8-Bit Christmas. It's about Nintendo, everybody. Who don't like Nintendo? I love Nintendo. So first off, we start with Jake, played by Neil Patrick Harris. He's pretty much with his daughter. He's grown. This is grown Jake, because this movie goes back to Jake's past. So we're with grown Jake, played by Neil Patrick Harris. And he's kind of explaining to his daughter, because they go to the house and she's like, what is this? She spots a Nintendo. So he's like, yo, that's a Nintendo. You don't know what a Nintendo is? She's like, no, I don't know what a Nintendo is, because like the kids of now, they probably don't know what the hell a original Nintendo looks like that came out in 1988. But anyway, so he breaks it down like, this was the best shit ever. Like, this is the way I got my Nintendo. So he tries to break down the story of how he got his Nintendo, his first Nintendo, and it's his whole story. Now, me personally, the way I got my Nintendo was I asked my dad for one, and he just got it for me. But this had a whole fucking story that made a movie. I was just like, yo, it's not that hard to get a Nintendo. I think back in the day, they was $80. If you didn't have $80 back in okay, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, it's a coming-of-age Christmas story, like I said, just involving a Nintendo. You know those coming-of-age stories. They kind of nostalgia. This one takes place in the 80s. But it never really felt like the 80s. Like every time they try to do 80s jokes or anything 80s, the new age had to let us know, oh, that's so old. So like every time he would tell like a joke from the 80s or reference something from the 80s or do anything to bring you back to that world where you like, dang, I remember growing up in that time, his daughter would just quickly let us know, like, oh, that's old, that's dusty, that's played out. And it's like, can we enjoy the 80s in this movie, or you gotta keep letting us know how irrelevant the people like me grew up in the 80s have to feel every time you shit and shut us down? That shit is fucking whack. And I hated that shit. So anyway, but that's not the lone reason why the jokes didn't work. At the end of the day, they just wasn't funny. Like, Neil Patrick Harris, to me, is a good actor. You know what I mean? He can do comedic shit. He can do drama. But as far as, like, it being funny, the movie just wasn't funny. Like, it was just like, okay, if we can't go off of funny, the whole premise is him trying to chase a Nintendo. But the jokes are not hitting as a kid. They got the cliche shit, the bullies, and them running from people, and just all that shit in the movie, but it just wasn't hitting joke-wise. But anyway, let me break down the story. So anyway, he tried to ask his parents for a Nintendo. They tell him no. They tell him it's too expensive. So he tries to figure out himself. Him and his sister team up, trying to figure out how they can get a Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? So they start doing like this wreath selling shit for the Boy Scouts. They start selling wreaths and shit. Some shit to try to earn money, because, not even earn money. I think if whoever sells the most wreaths get a free Nintendo. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, that shit don't work out. It's one of them type of movies. So then, to have a villain to this shit, because there's no villain, but movies feel like you need a villain in all of their fucking movies. The parents were the villains. They was like, oh, Nintendo was just this bad thing about, oh, it's violent and shit. And I'm trying to figure out, how is Legend of Zelda violent? How is Mario Kart violent? How, not Mario Kart was on Nintendo, but how is Super Mario Brothers violent? Like, how is Super Mario Brothers 2 violent? Like, I just didn't get. Nintendo was not violent. Like, now, if you want to talk about Genesis and when Mortal Kombat and shit came out, alright. But Nintendo, it was nothing violent on Nintendo, like, at all. So I'm just kind of figuring out, like, that wasn't a good villain, but they went with that one. Anyway, that's like the premise of the story. I tried to get through it. I did. It wasn't a horrible movie. Man, I'm gonna go with a don't watch. This movie is a complete don't watch, and they completely wasted David Cross. If you know who that is, like, he's a brilliant actor. He has some whack ass scenes, but yeah, this movie was a don't watch, and I was looking forward to it because I'm a big Nintendo fan. I still have Nintendo to today. I have a Nintendo Switch I've had every Nintendo. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, motherfucking GameCube, like fucking Nintendo 64, Nintendo Wii U, Nintendo Switch. Like I had them all. Like, and it's like you fuck my favorite system up with this weak ass movie that did not matter. So don't watch, people. Do not watch this holiday film at all. With that being said, I'm out. Thank you guys for checking out my page, and make sure you click that bell so you can see all the videos that I do. Follow me on Instagram. So check out the videos to the side of me because they're just as dope as the ones you just watched. And with that being said, peace.